My name is Troy Navarro. You've probably never heard of me, but if you live within 200 miles of Austin, you've used something I built. Tech companies, real estate chains, electric car charging networks that stretch across 4 states. I didn't inherit wealth. I made it, and I gave it away like it was air. Scholarships for kids whose parents worked 2 jobs. Rent paid for single mothers about to be evicted. I built a youth center in the neighborhood where I grew up, right next to the burned-out gas station where I used to sleep in my car. People called me a saint. I called myself lucky. My fiancée, Brielle, was the kind of woman people stared at in airports. Not just beautiful, untouchable. Designer everything. Paris 3 times a year. Milan for Fashion Week. I paid for all of it and I never blinked. My younger sister, Jada, I bought her a boutique in downtown Denver. She'd never worked retail a day in her life, but I believed in her. My cousin, Malik, I gave him $80,000 to start a clothing brand. He blew it in 4 months. Came back. I gave him another $60,000. I never said no. Not once. Then one night, I saw something on the news that stopped my heart. A man named Roger DuPont had drowned himself in the Gulf of Mexico. Roger DuPont was a legend. He'd built hospitals in Haiti, funded clean water projects in Uganda, sent over 2,000 kids to college. Then his shipping company went under. Pirates hit 3 of his cargo vessels in 1 week. Insurance didn't cover it. The banks came for him like wolves. He called everyone he'd ever helped. No one picked up. Within 2 months, Roger DuPont walked into the ocean and never came back. I sat in my living room, remote still in my hand, staring at his face on the screen. What if that was me? If you were standing there, would you have walked away? I didn't sleep for 5 nights. I kept seeing Roger's face, kept imagining my phone ringing with no one answering, kept wondering if the people I loved would let me drown too. So I made a plan, an ugly, necessary plan. I called a family meeting, told everyone I had a big announcement, told them to come ready to celebrate. They came running. They always did when I was handing out gifts. The house was packed. Jada and her boutique friends, Malik and his crew, cousins I hadn't seen in years, Brielle and her girlfriends, all dressed like they were attending the Met Gala. Everyone was laughing, drinking, taking selfies in my entryway. I stood at the top of the staircase, looking down at them. Let's see who stays. I descended slowly. The room went quiet. All eyes on me. I opened my mouth to speak, and coughed. Hard. I grabbed my chest. Coughed again. My hand shook against my ribs. Brielle's smile vanished. "Babe?" she called out. I coughed harder. Louder. My knees buckled. Then I collapsed. Screams exploded through the house. Brielle sprinted to me, heels clicking like gunshots. "Troy! Somebody call 911. People scattered. Voices overlapped. Panic thick enough to choke on. Within minutes, my family doctor, Dr. Langston, arrived. He'd been waiting in the guest house, just like we'd planned. He knelt beside me, checked my pulse, checked my eyes. The whole room held its breath. Dr. Langston stood up slowly. He cleared his throat. "Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Raymond Langston, Troy's personal physician." Silence. "I regret to inform you that Troy Navarro is suffering from complete renal failure." A woman screamed. "His kidneys have shut down," Dr. Langston continued. "We've been searching for a donor for the past 11 months. Every lead has failed." Brielle's knees buckled. Her friends caught her before she hit the ground. "He has 2 weeks to live," Dr. Langston said. "Maybe less." The room erupted. "God, no. Not Troy. This can't be happening." Dr. Langston raised his hand. "If anyone is willing to be tested as a potential donor, come to the hospital tomorrow. I'll leave the address with security." He looked around the room one last time. 2 weeks. That's all he has. Then he walked out. This is the moment people argue about. Brielle collapsed into a chair, sobbing so hard her entire body shook. Her friends huddled around her, whispering, rubbing her back. I lay on the couch, eyes half closed, watching. One by one, people started leaving. Quietly, quickly. No goodbyes. No promises. Just gone. Jada didn't even look at me. She grabbed her purse and walked out, phone already to her ear. Malik gave me one glance, shook his head, and left. Cousins I'd sent to college? Vanished. Friends I'd bailed out of debt? Gone. Within an hour, the house was empty. Brielle sat in the bedroom later that night, mascara streaked down her face. "How could you keep this from me?" she whispered. I didn't answer. "Kidney failure, Troy? Kidney failure? And you didn't tell me?" Her voice cracked. I can't do this." She stood up and walked out. I sat there alone, staring at the wall, waiting for the sound of her car leaving. Came 30 seconds later. 3 days passed. No calls, no texts, no visitors. I tried calling people myself. Jada? Straight to voicemail. Malik? Blocked. Brielle? She let it ring. I sat on my balcony, staring at my cars, my pool, my empire. None of it mattered. Not one person came. On day 4, Jada showed up. She didn't hug me, didn't sit down. She stood in the doorway with her arms crossed. "You see where helping people got you?" she said coldly. "All those strangers you gave money to, where are they now?" I said nothing. "I begged you to invest in my second location. You said no. But you gave some random kid $50,000 for art school." She laughed bitterly. "Good luck, Troy. I'm not dying for someone who chose strangers over family." She left. Malik came next. "You really thought people cared about you?" he sneered. "You thought love was real?" He shook his head. "You gave me pocket change and acted like a hero. You've got millions, Troy. Millions. And you handed me crumbs." He spit on the floor. "Rest in peace, bro." And he was gone. If this moment made you feel something, tap like and share so someone else can feel it too. 1 week and 6 days passed. No one came. Not a soul. Dr. Langston sat across from me in the living room, his face grim. "No one showed up," he said quietly. I nodded. I wasn't surprised anymore. Just tired. "You can go, document." He hesitated, then stood, and left. That night, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, replaying every face, every voice, every promise. "I love you, man. Your family. I'll always have your back." All lies. Then, on the 13th day, the door opened. I looked up. It was Brielle. She was wearing sunglasses, but I could see the redness around her eyes. She'd been crying. She walked straight into the bedroom and sat on the edge of the bed. "I came for the surgery," she said softly. I stared at her. "I know it's 50-50, she whispered. "I know I might not make it." Tears spilled down her face. "But I can't lose you, Troy." I was angry. I was scared. "But I love you." She took off her sunglasses. Her eyes were swollen, bloodshot. "I can't let you die." I broke. I pulled her into my arms and sobbed like a child. She held me, and for the first time in 2 weeks, I felt human again. The next morning, Brielle lay in a hospital bed, dressed in a thin blue gown. I stood beside her, holding her hand. Dr. Langston walked in. He smiled. "There is no kidney failure." Brielle froze. She turned to me slowly, confusion flooding her face. "What?" "It was a test," I said quietly. Her mouth opened, closed. "I needed to know who would stay," I continued. "I needed to know if anyone loved me without the money." She started crying. "How could you do that?" she whispered. "Do you know how scared I was?" I pulled her close. "I'm sorry, and I'm so grateful you came." She cried into my chest, and I held her like my life depended on it. That evening, I made one final call. "Get everyone back here," I said. "Family, friends, everyone who came to the first meeting. Tell them I want to say goodbye." By sunset, the house was full again. They came slower this time, heads down, faces tight, fake sympathy everywhere. I stood in the center of the room, same spot as before. "I called you here," I said calmly, "because I wanted to say goodbye." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. I was told I had 2 weeks to live. Today is day 14. Some people wiped fake tears. I spent my whole life giving. I continued. I believed love was real. I paused. But when I needed help, not one of you came. Silence. I snapped my fingers. Dr. Langston walked in with two men in suits. There is no kidney failure, Dr. Langston announced. Gasped. This was a test, I said, to see who would stay when money wasn't guaranteed. I held up a folder. This contains the names of people who checked on me, who called, who cared. I looked around. There are 3 names in here. The room went cold. From today forward, I said, my life changes. My money changes direction. I stared at them. Anyone who left me when I was dying should never come back now that I'm alive. Security stepped forward. Escort them out. Chaos exploded. People begged, screamed, explained. I turned my back. The doors closed. And for the first time in my life, I stood in silence. Real silence. I smiled, pulled Brielle close, and finally breathed. 3 months later, we got married in a small ceremony by the lake. No cameras, no crowd, just us. We flew to Stockholm for our honeymoon. Life moved on. Clearer, quieter, honest. Was Brielle loyal? Or afraid to lose the lifestyle? Type your answer in the comments. Some people love you. Some people love what you give them. And you'll never know the difference until you have nothing left to give.